old buildings that
Yes.
would be along that area.
It was
Now-
up in the corner.
It's not the building that was Moonlight Bay.
No.
Was it on the east side or the west side?
It
Was
was
it
on
on?
the south side of the highway, right in the corner
Yeah.
where the inn has that boat sitting
Yeah.
in there. That was the original yacht club.
That's where it was right
Oh.
there.
Yes.
Now, we were wondering, because of the look of the old men's club, it wasn't that building, was it?
No,
So that yacht club building would have been torn down, because we've been looking at that old men's club building and wondering if that was the old yacht club building.
That, actually, the building that was over where all the sailboats used to be,
Mm-hmm.
burned down.
Oh.
Burned down. Because there was, I think, 1 or 2 sailboats left in there because the masts were still laying there when I came home from school.
Okay.
I don't know when the fire happened. It was
About-
late in the winter.
how about how old would you have been?
Oh, it was in the earlier part of my years of
So
school.
you were in school,
Okay, so there, I'm thinking
When Wymus
nobody else to ask.
had
well,
that
sometime
store,
after sometime in the early 50s then, right? Because,
Yes.
you know, 44, you know, you go to school when you're 6, so, you know,
sometime in the 50s, it burned down.
okay.
But there was a building there before the actual thing that held the boats.
Right.
It was moved in the wintertime on the ice. I remember Len telling me they moved it down, and I think that was the place that was in there as a yacht club to start with. And then they did a whole pile of renovations on it.
Oh, okay.
Because when I was a kid, my sisters and I, one season, cleaned the yacht club every Monday after the
Oh, okay.
weekends.
And that was the one that would be next door to where Roberts, that was the building that we
That's right.
see the pictures of that had the kind of a thing like this on the side of it.
Yes,
Not the one that we see in the picture that has 2 roofs and 20, there's a picture of this old building that looks like Moonlight Bay with 25 men sitting in front of it with trophies that would be from, some of the trophies are dated from the 30s, we know because we've got those trophies. So there's that photograph, and what we can't connect is connect that to, now the building you cleaned would probably be the one that was built and then moved to the location here.
yeah, I think that building
But
came
it's the
from up
previous
beside-
building
up,
that we were thinking
by
of.
my place,
Mhm.
but it was on the south side of the highway.
South side of the highway, yeah.
And it was moved down here, according to Lynn Baldwin, that I
Yeah.
remember. And then,
They moved it down here because they couldn't sail very well up there.
yeah, and then plus there was development, like Wymus had bought that piece of property, had the store and
Okay,
service station.
yeah, and it was quite close to
And
that.
Ted had a boathouse down there, about where he's got that new boathouse in there now. He had a boathouse in there, and they used to keep a big, what they called the Queen Mary.
Oh,
It was a
yes.
big inboard boat that used to take tours around the lake. It only traveled like 10 mile an hour at the very most.
What kind of boats did they have?
They had
Yeah.
an old flathead engine in there, and it was a direct drive, because as soon as you start it, the thing would start
Moving.
heading off. You'd shut it off as you're coming in and kind of coasting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we
Were
were
there many? Were there many like power boats, or was it all?
No.
Most of the stuff were like rowboats and.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, power
Rowboats
is
and
right.
sailboats.
rowboats
And sailboat,
and
yeah.
sailboats, yeah.
Rowboats and sailboats.
Yeah. Yeah.
We had a rowboat, and we used to ride around this lake here as kids, and we'd collect firewood and tie it all together
Oh,
with
yeah, that's what you were doing.
rope. And
Where would the firewood come
then,
from? Up
well,
the
it
ditch?
would come down the irrigation ditch,
Yeah.
and from the Bow River.
Mhm.
Right, because what was
And because
on-
everything
Driftwood,
came
yeah.
in from the Bow River, they didn't have all those fancy gates back then. They were,
Yeah.
They were
wooden
just
stuff.
sluiceways.
Yeah,
And it come in there, and it would drift. And of course, I imagine some farmers' fences get washed out in the spring. Anyways, we'd drag all that wood home and stack it in little piles down by the lake. And in the fall of the year, we'd take and bring it all up to the house. We had an old Fortson tractor and one of those big circular saws with a 30-inch blade on it. We'd saw all the wood. stack it in a big circle and throw the other stuff in the center. And that was what you used for heating. And every fall, we would get a load of coal.
Drive out to Carbon or something? No?
No, we'd have it brought in with some guy with a big truck, and my dad and him would sit in there and drink, and us kids got to unload these big chunks of coal. And we'd come in about the same color as your jacket.
Oh gosh.
You know,
Isn't that
you-
crazy?
And
Boy,
so-
you had a list of chores, didn't you?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
well,
Holy
And what kind of
mackerel.
furnace did you have that in? Was it in a
What
furnace? Or
furnace?
what furnace? Okay,
Yeah.
I got you, yeah.
There
Because
was-
I grew up with a coal furnace that you had to feed, but I mean,
oh, well, no, we had a,
Downstairs, we had a pot-bellied stove, and my
Okay.
dad and I took tin from the city dump that we used to haul home.
oh yeah,
every
you always go to the dump
weekend.
and get good stuff,
We'd
right?
go there, and that's where all my bicycles came from. I'd go there and gather up all of these old bikes and bring them home, and I'd make my own bike. So, and I'd make it for my sisters too.
oh gosh, Dave.
So anyways,
The tin.
and the tin, and all the roofing we could find, there was, used to be stuff there from the roofing outfits that were rejects, you know, had pieces missing off it. We always brought all that home, and
You
every timber.
recycled,
Pardon?
you recycled.
We recycled everything. Still doing it today. Don't know how to stop.
No. So, but you took
Boy.
the pot-bellied stove. I think you were going to tell me you probably made heat vents.
We
right?
took old pieces of bathtub, pieces of tin, and we put it together and riveted it by hand rivets. And then that went around, and then we run some ducts up with 5-gallon pails. We joined them together, and that went up into my mom and dad's room.
And they have
we
a nice
went into
little
the
grate.
living
You said
room.
On the
old
floor
bathtubs?
Pardon?
You said old bathtubs that you riveted together?
Yeah.
That was your,
Oh, tin bathtubs. No, not
Oh.
not ceramic bathtubs.
No, no.
Big tin.
They're
Tin.
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 tin, yeah,
In
yeah.
fact, we had one installed and
We
when
have to
moved
explain
out
that
there to the house,
people
it was
get-
hanging up on the wall out in the back of the,
Yeah,
what
you
they
know
call a
what?
wash
We don't
stand.
want anyone to think of bathtubs like we have now. But
No.
Well, they were that shape, some of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they were tin.
But they were tin.
Yeah, they were
the
made
same
of
with
tin.
like now the big round, yeah, that
Wash
was.
tubs, like the
yeah.
big round
You
wash
take a
tubs.
wash tub and remove the bottom because most of them were rotted out.
Yeah.
And so that began, and we took
A
a
nice,
bunch of them,
yeah.
put pieces into them, you know, cut them with tin snips.
Oh, you'd get quite a nice big.
Yeah,
We put those around and then made some like octopus arms to put up there, and they were all made out of pails. And you snip the ends of the pails
Oh yeah,
so
of
they
course.
slip
Yeah,
over,
yeah. Gotcha. Oh.
and then put a rivet in there and hammer the rivet.
You had a different life than I had, and I'm not that much younger than you are, but we lived in Calgary, and we certainly, that was a different experience.
This is
and-
why they call me the handyman around here, because I've done just
Yeah.
about everything there has been.
Yeah.
to do.
Wow, eh?
Anyway, I just want to jump back to that building. So
Yes.
the men's club could probably never have been the original old yacht club that
No,
we see
no,
in that
no,
photograph
no.
from the 30s. Okay,
No.
I just want to confirm that because Michael Hooper's trying to put together for the centennial of the yacht club, which will be in 10 years if we're all still around. He's going to do something big, and he really wants to follow up all the buildings that were there. And we didn't want to miss out if that men's club actually had been that original yacht club building, because there is some similarity to how it looks.
unfortunately, we don't have any photos of when we moved out here. There was, what the house that Dyson's used to live in, what was it called? It was a porch with a glass all over.
Yeah, it had glass all the way around. That was where Wymas were when I was a kid,
Mhm.
lived in there. And they owned the store across the way.
Mhm.
And then the house next to it was called the Moonlight Bay. It was painted
Yes.
green with
Yes.
lots of fancy trellis
Yes.
and lots of caragannons around
Mhm.
it.
So where was the,
The men's club was the next one down,
Next one north,
next one to the west.
to the west. Okay, yeah, sorry.
The glass house was right at the corner where you come off in the cove now,
Oh, okay.
because they bought that piece of property from that man to put that road in. And then the next house to it was the Moonlight Bay, and the next house towards the lake was the men's club, and I believe at some point in time that said something tea, a tea house of some kind.
Okay.
Then the next house to that was my grandparents' place, which was a stable and a store. Like you stopped in there and you could get some food, and you could
Right.
spend There was some extra rooms in the house.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And the barn was a stable.
Well, and they had the post office, because
They had a little bit of
And they
everything.
had a little bit of it. They had
And
the
in
post office, yeah, that was the first.
1925, he moved into the city
That was
of
the first
Calgary and
post
bought a
office.
boarding house.
Oh, okay.
And
Malta,
then-
wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was in Hobart.
So this was prior to that 1925 then, that this was happening? At your
Yes, this
grandfather, yeah.
happened there,
Yeah.
but when I came here, the men's club, I think had already moved, or at some point from the time I got there, from 46 to 50, somewheres in there, that men's club went up there, because Carmen Ellis donated that piece of property,
Right.
because he owned all the property, including the piece behind us,
Well, the piece that there's now the Cove
was all
was,
Carmen
Carmen
Ellis.
yeah,
Ellis.
belonged to
property.
Carmen Ellis.
Except for he
So,
didn't have what they
Oh.
call Chestermere
Heights.
Chestermere Heights. I have all the drawings of that.
Yes.
I think you
I've
saw
got
that.
a copy of that, yeah.
And you know what I'm thinking too is, Dave's sister passed away this summer, and her son came across all of these photos.
Oh.
So he's given all of this bunch of stuff, Grace being the oldest, has given it all to Debbie. So Debbie's been emailing me back and forth, and she goes, I need you to check, or I need Uncle Dave to look at.
Yeah. Well, maybe
Pictures.
if there's anything of any of the old buildings.
Well,
we
that's
could-
exactly what I'm
We
thinking.
could recognize this old yacht club because it's quite distinctive.
Yes.
With the way the porch is, and you can just see there's this 25 or 30 people with sailor hats on, and they've got these trophies, and we know one of those trophies is the Hoffner's rowboat trophy that was from the 30s. Well, one of them's a sailing trophy, given at the same time as the rowboat trophy, and it's the Hoffner trophy.
That name, believed, owned that corner place
Yes, they
beside
did.
the Moonlight Bay
Yes.
at one point in
Yes,
time.
so I've tried to contact, I just threw out on Facebook anybody named Hoffner and sent messages to people. And a girl named Donna Hoffner replied to me. She lives in Medicine Hat, but she hasn't gotten back to me, and I'm hoping that maybe the Hoffner family, who never wrote a history for the history book, were here but never stayed, that there might be some with old pictures as well. So, but that would be good if you,
Yeah, if there's,
anyway, we don't need to have all this on our
No.
recording,
I was
but
gonna say, yeah,
this
you
is-
could,
yeah.
We can edit it.
Yeah,
maybe,
we can.
no, good.
But I'm doing this on behalf of Michael, who said, make sure you talk to Dave about the yacht club.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
anyway.
So what I remember of it is, Len Baldwin was the one that told me they had moved one of the buildings down in the wintertime
Yes.
on the ice.
Oh, it was moved on the ice.
On
Okay.
the ice.
I
Well,
think
because
I heard
of the
that.
Easy sliding, right?
Yeah, of course.
And
Yeah. Put a
there
little
was
bit of tin or
a
whatever
bunch
in
of
it.
people and farmers that helped to
Mhm.
move the thing. And other than that, I don't remember it being moved.
Yeah.
But I do remember the old brown building where the sailboats and masts used to sit out of the top.
Yes.
I remember coming home from school one day and here's this pile of black material there, and there was a couple masts laying down there and virtually nothing left of anything.
Wow.
And then it wasn't many years after that Wyma's ended up buying the store to start with.
Mm-hmm.
And they ran that store only during the summertime, and they used to close it down.
What did they have